What's up guys, JV2017 here, and today I'd like to talk with you all about difficult games in general and how I treat them and, how I've played difficult games in the past, and also about Bloodborne, because Bloodborne is definitely a hard game, very difficult game that's coming out towards the end of March, so that's kind of the genesis of this video. Genesis is a very complicated word that I really didn't even plan on using right there, but I did. So that is really the inspiration behind this video. So hard games. When I think of hard modern games, well, first off, let's go back to the olden days of games. As we all know, games have gotten so much easier over the years. There's a lot more hand-holding. A lot of people talk about, whatever, Mega Man blah blah was just so hard, back in the day. And if you beat it, you're just legendary. It was just so difficult. And over the years, we've kind of gotten this more accessibility and more hand-holding, as I just described. So really, in general, it doesn't really matter exactly how, but games have been a lot easier. And I think a really big, reason for that is popularity. Games are becoming a lot more popular. They're more popular every year. People are buying more games, spending more money on consoles, and all that good stuff. It's just fact. So the games industry is growing, and therefore, when you reach a wider audience, I think it makes sense that games have gotten easier in general. Now, when we talk about modern games that are difficult, the big obvious, franchise is, I guess, Demon Souls / Dark Souls. I guess you could just call it the Souls franchise, which is made by From Software, which is a Japanese studio. And these guys make difficult games. I don't have to tell you, Dark Souls and Demon Souls, they have a reputation of being very difficult. So difficult that they make people cry. They make grown men sprout grown man tears, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. And so that's just kind of the whole culture behind Dark Souls and Demon Souls. And in order to get through these games, you have to die over and over and over. I mean, one of the big campaign ad things for Dark Souls was Prepare to Die. There was a Prepare to Die edition of Dark Souls 2. So that very clearly, shows this is a difficult game. This is a game about failing over and over, learning from your mistakes, and then when you finally, achieve whatever you're trying to achieve, then it's this great feeling of satisfaction. So let's talk about my history with these Dark Souls games. So first off, the first game that I really, I knew about Demon Souls, and Demon Souls, it kind of flew under the radar when it first came out for me, but it was a PS3, I think it was PS3 only game, I'm pretty sure, because again, we're talking about a Japanese company, and this was, I think, their first big release. Can't verify that, but look at this monster. This looks like a ballsack monster to me, guys. Don't you think? That's what I would call this monster. Anyways, so that is when the first kind of Souls franchise game came out. It flew under the radar for me. I didn't play the game, although I heard it's just fantastic, wonderful game. It got big ratings, and I was like, what's all the hubbub? I don't understand. So I kind of didn't even, approach that game. But when Dark Souls came out, I was interested because immediately I look at reviews, and I don't know about you guys, when you determine whether you're going to buy a game or not, if I'm not, really excited by the pre-release information, the pre-release videos, and all of that, then I look at reviews as my determining factor. So when I looked at reviews for Dark Souls, they were just really high. Like, Dark Souls, this is an amazing game, whatever, you should get it. And so I was one of those people that went ahead and bought Dark Souls, and I knew going in, hey, I'm going to have to, work at this game, right? I'm going to have to really put in some time. So long story short, I probably put in about 4 hours into Dark Souls, and I quit, right? I was like, okay, I'm not getting a ton of progress. I'm not sure I even, am I really enjoying myself with the game? I really couldn't say yes or no. I just, put in this effort and I really didn't get anywhere. So that was my kind of experience with Dark Souls. I just forgot about it. I mean, I still have it on my 360 hard drive. That's whatever. So fast forward to Dark Souls 2. I did the same thing. I was like, hey, I'm going to come back. Dark Souls 2 got great reviews. I'm going to buy this game. That's what you guys are watching right now because I had this on my hard drive. I just looked. I have 2 achievements for Dark Souls 2. I just did not play this game a lot. I have like 3 hours of playtime. And it was the same kind of cycle of me getting into the game and like convincing myself, hey, you know what, JV, you are going to learn how to play this hard game. You are going to succeed and you're going to get through it. And it's going to be, this grand feeling of accomplishment of, losing over and over, dying over and over, and then coming back and learning from your mistakes and winning. That didn't happen either. Like I said, I got 3 hours of playtime on this game, and it's not just that the game is difficult. I don't want you guys to think that JV is a person that just won't play difficult games. If he runs into an obstacle, he's just gonna quit. That's totally not true. For me, it really isn't. I've beaten difficult games in the past, and I want to say a big reason, or here there are probably a few reasons for me for kind of just like abandoning my experience with Dark Souls and the Dark Souls games in general. I think one of the big things is kind of the appeal of the game and the presentation and really like the setting of the game. So it's kind of a dark and dreary game, right? Dark Souls. I mean, of course it makes sense. It's a game about killing whatever, getting souls. Like, I couldn't even tell you for sure, but it's a dark and dreary game. It's kind of in a medieval setting, and I would say it doesn't have the best visuals. I think that's fair to say, and they are remastering it for the new consoles, but I think a big part of whether I stick with the game or not is graphics and visuals, and I don't think it really just blows me away, and I think that's a fair thing to say. Another thing is accessibility, and some of you guys may disagree with me because this is totally my opinion. I don't think the Dark Souls games are very accessible in a way, at least for me as a Western gamer, as someone who plays games that are primarily made and developed in the West. This is an Eastern game, right? It's made by a Japanese company. And so I think the accessibility between Western and Eastern games are just so different that I can't get into it. It's kind of difficult to understand the controls. If you compare this to a game that, you could just have anyone pick up and play, this is not a very good pick up and play and understand game. There are a lot of mechanics behind it, but I think that's part of the charm of the Souls franchise and these difficult games. It's that you have to put in the time, you have to die a lot in order to learn and understand and become very good at the game. And I respect that, for sure. But for me, that kind of aesthetic was just not enough for me to keep playing. So really, this whole conversation is kind of funneling towards Bloodborne, because I look at Bloodborne and I feel myself falling into the same trap. Like this trap of, oh, I know it's going to be a difficult game, but I'm going to put in the time and effort into this game in order to become good at it and, have these really rewarding experiences. So really, guys, I want to know from you guys, are you looking forward to Bloodborne? Are you going to get the game? Do you know you're already going to get the game? And do you have any Dark Souls, Souls franchise experience? Because I really want to buy Bloodborne. I think from a presentation standpoint and I guess the kind of story of the game, which again, I don't know a lot, but just from me glancing, it's kind of like this really cool gothic setting. The main character looks like a badass, and he's fighting these angry villagers. And that's more compelling to me than any of the Dark Souls games have been in the past. And also another compelling point for me to get Bloodborne and play it is that it's on PS4, so it's new gen. I really want to kind of explore the new gen games as opposed to keeping playing games on the last generation consoles, right? I want to make that transition almost completely as soon as I possibly can. So anyways, guys, I want to know, like I said, are you going to pick up Bloodborne? Do you think I'm going to have a good time with Bloodborne? Because I've just explained exactly what my experiences have been with the Souls games. Do you think it's going to be a game that I just spend $60 on and never play again after 5 hours? I've talked to my friends personally, and they believe it's going to be that kind of game for me, and I want to prove them wrong. Actually, we've got 2 bets going. One of them is $30 that I won't get to the first boss, which is kind of insulting, but it's funny at the same time because it could be true. And the other one is $100 that I can't beat the last boss and I guess, beat the game. That's $100 that I can't beat Bloodborne. So these guys, my friends, they have these bets on me, and I think they're funny and they're fun, and I might just take on those bets and see exactly what happens. But anyways, guys, I just wanted to, share this conversation, something I've been thinking about hard games and Bloodborne and all that fun stuff. So anyways, guys, don't forget to comment in the comment section below. Remember to like if you enjoyed the video and subscribe for more of these kinds of videos, these Commentator Soapbox videos in the future. I like doing these with you all. So hope you guys enjoyed, and I will talk to you all next time. Peace.